Episodic and Semantic Memory, created by Tulving, 1972. Endel Tulving made the distinction between episodic and semantic memory due to aiming to reduce the ambiguity around the nature of long-term memory. He proposed that long-term memory could be divided into two memory stores: episodic, remembering experiences, and semantic, remembering facts. He proposed the differences between episodic and semantic memory was based on evidence that each store was qualitatively different in the nature of stored memories, time referencing, nature of association between memories, nature of retrieving/recalling memories, and independence of each store. Episodic memory is memory for events. Semantic memory is memory for facts. Semantic and episodic are types of long-term memory known as explicit or declarative memories. Episodic memory stores information relating to episodes in a person's life, such as childhood experiences. Semantic memory is responsible for storing factual knowledge about the world. For example, the fact that bananas are yellow. Examples of episodic memory is remembering your first day at school, recalling your wedding day, and remembering a family vacation. Whereas examples of semantic memory is knowing grass is green, recognizing names of colours, and remembering what day it is. For supporting research is Bowler et al., 1969. He did a study on semantic memory. He used word lists with some categories and word lists without categories. He used 4 lists of 28 words and presented them to participants one at a time to test long-term memory. After the lists were presented to participants, they wrote down as many words as they could recall. They were 2 groups: participants with words in categories and participants with randomly presented words. The participants with words in categories recalled 73 out of 102 words. Participants who had words presented randomly recalled 21 out of 112 words. This suggests meaning is involved in recall. This is evidence for semantic memory. There is an argument for both nature and nurture for this theory. Nurture. Semantic and episodic memory both rely upon your nurture, your schemas of how you group together things and store groups of memories together. However, there's more of a nature element than nurture. Semantic memory stores words, facts, rules, meanings, and concepts as an organized body of knowledge. These memories are associated with other facts that link concepts together without autobiographical association. Episodic memory receives and stores information about experiences or events that occurs at a time in our life. Memories are linked to a time and context. So I'm going to summarize a lot of this, so please pause the video here. So here's my summary. That is reliable. There is a lot of support for Turing's distinctions. For example, Clive Waring, who only lost episodic memory but still had his semantic memory. And this is reliable as it's a real-life case study. Applications. The distinction between episodic and semantic memory helps us to understand people with dementia and amnesia and how we may be able to help them further with therapies like cognitive stimulation therapy. Reliability. There's evidence that the medial temporal lobe supports the idea that the brain stores episodic memories, giving good biological support. Weaknesses. In case you're wondering, this isn't summarized as it's already quite summarized on the PowerPoint. There's evidence that the medial temporal lobe is used for both semantic and episodic memory, which suggests they are not completely separate. Validity. The difference is descriptive rather than being a real difference. The meaning of the model doesn't explain how or why the system works. Oversimplification. Critics argue that Turing's theory oversimplifies memory. There may be more types of memory that are not included in his model. This is a reductionist view of memory.